Baseball fans, g'day and welcome back to Blue Sox Banter. I'm Glen Hawke and great to be with you for episode number 4. We've heard from our owner, we've heard from a head coach, and today it's time to hear from some of the players who'll be lining up, and no better than some of the players who'll be leading this team. 2 members of our leadership group this year, Josh Guyer and Alex Howe. Firstly, Howie, welcome along.
Thank you very much. Very excited to be on Blue Sox Banter.
And Josh Guyer, welcome along to you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Guys, firstly, Josh, in this ridiculous COVID world that we're living at the moment, firstly, how's your baseball going? How's preparations for this upcoming season?
Yeah, it's been a bit tough, but obviously everybody's got it a little bit tough, just trying to find ways of, getting work in. Throwing a lot of baseballs at a fence at the park has been kind of my MO at the moment. But otherwise, yeah, just doing the best I can.
And Howie, you've got plenty on your plate at the moment between work and a child on the way reasonably soon as well.
Yeah. Expecting my first child in mid-February. So very exciting times. My lovely fiance now, Alex, and I are very excited for our baby girl coming along in February. So 2021, can't wait.
How's she doing?
Very good, very good. Had a bit of a tough first trimester, but she's doing very well, and pregnancy looks very nice on her.
Now you've already started doing the huff and puff classes and the likes. I can assure you, mate, it's not going to prepare you for the real thing, but how's it going for you?
Our first one got cancelled. It was meant to be on this coming Sunday, so it got cancelled. But we are looking forward to it. We're trying something new. It's called Hypnobirth.
Right.
We've been out there, but we've heard some very, very great things from some close friends of ours. So we can't wait. It's going to be good.
Excellent. So baseball for you, mate. It's I know you're working and about to start a family soon and trying to train, and you're playing summer ball again. How's your sort of preparations for the upcoming season going at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good. We just kind of, for me personally, I just want to kind of get going and kind of sort of get around the boys again. Very soon we'll be starting training twice a week, and we'll be moving towards, playing twice a week as well. So that's 4 nights already. So there's going to be plenty of times that we can get reps in and kind of continually to build towards the ABL season, which, is a bit of a later start this year. Probably good for me to give me an opportunity to make sure that we do spend that time at state league level, get those reps in, and especially with joining a new team.
I suppose preparation-wise with you, Josh, being a pitcher, I suppose these blokes playing positional, they can shag a few fly balls, take a few grounders, a couple of cuts in the cage, and they're good to go. But for guys who are taking them out this year, the build-up and preparation needs to be a lot more thorough than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things that, hitters can hit off a tee and, do flips and stuff. And obviously that's pretty close, but nothing kind of like, is similar than throwing off a mound at 100%. I can only throw at a wall so much before, there's a drastic jump to the next level. So it's really important to kind of, find different ways of, being able to slowly progress that sort of pre-season, spring training, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that not only are we healthy, but we're, game ready, ready to go.
And I suppose even scrimmage games, being able to get some of those under your belt, you can get in the bullpen, you can get the pitch count up, but it's getting that situational pitching as well, isn't it?
Yeah, bullpens, will, definitely help. They're, massive thing that kind of help you prepare, but nothing kind of can prepare you to that adrenaline game day situation where, you say 6 innings in, you've got a runner on, you're trying to empty the tank, but stay composed at the same time. So yeah, the more reps you get in a game sort of situation at, a competitive level, the better.
And I suppose, Alex, exactly the same for you. There's been plenty of hitters who've been brilliant in the batting cage, but it's getting in those tough situations when the pressure's on that it's hard to replicate that in any sort of training situation.
Oh, 100%. And exactly what Josh was saying. It's the position for us position players. It's so hard kind of going from, your local league to state league, then to the ABL level. That ABL level is, quite a few notches higher, with the quality pitching that each team has. We constantly face guys throwing 90s to mid 90s. Then with fantastic, with really commanding off-speed pitches, that takes time to get used to. So even in regards to like when we play scrimmages coming up, for having those live at-bats against, our pitches, will kind of put us in good stead moving forward to make sure that our position players are ready to go at the start of the season.
I wanted to ask you both of that, just in regard to that step up from state league to the ABL. I know that the Sydney Major League competition is a quality competition, but I suppose it is that consistency, Alex, with, you might get a guy throwing low to mid 80s, regularly, and the odd guy might start popping one around 90 mile an hour, but all of a sudden that 90 mile an hour is coming in consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some, the state league games that have been played so far this year have been to a pretty high standard, have been to a really quality standard, which is a credit to all the teams, making sure they put their pre-season in this season. However, consistently having those top tier quality arms roll in that you'll face day in, day out, it kind of pushes us to a next level as well. And that's kind of what we're looking forward to moving into the season.
And I suppose for you, Josh, when you're on the mound in the ABL, there's not too many holes in batting lineups that you come up and face.
No, that's exactly right. So, when you're looking at it at state league wise, we've, out of the 4 games we played this year, we've had 3 blowouts, games we won by more than 10. So, it's kind of difficult. Some teams have, like you said, that 1 through 9 that, there are no holes. And obviously when you go to the ABL, that's a step up again. So yeah, like state league, is great in preparing you, but nothing like the ABL. You can't let go. Even some of the best pitchers I've seen have, struggled against 7, 8, 9 hitters. So it's really good. Definitely got to be switched on.
Alex, for you, you've been a part of the Blue Sox roster for a couple of years now, but last year was a real breakout year for you. What did you put that down to?
Obviously, maybe a little bit of maturity as well, but I think I made some mechanical changes offensively at the start of the season, with the assistance of a few key friends and so the coaching staff of the Blue Sox, and it was really, paid dividends, honestly. Looking back now, I wish I did it 5 years earlier. But those mechanical changes definitely allowed me to make adjustments, from at bat to at bat. Kept consistent, got good pitches to hit, and was able to put a pretty good swing on it. And hopefully, with harder work and having the same mindset, I can roll that into this season.
And I suppose that the difference between a low 200 hitter to what ended up being a 320 hitter last year.
Yeah, like I said, a couple of things go your way. You get lucky at times, but you make your own luck a little bit when you can put consistent at bats together. Things do fall your way.
Who in the Blue Sox coaching roster did you really lean on for that assistance? Because you've got some good ones amongst them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brendan Kingman worked closely with BK for the last couple of seasons ever since he's been around, and I think it kind of took us a while to kind of connect a little bit. But I think definitely last year we, I kind of as a player kind of started understanding the way he was coaching and couple of things that he was saying about my mechanics, that really clicked last year. And, even now moving on to the couple of sessions that we have already had, it's really kind of, we're not starting again. We're building, continuing to build.
And I suppose how's the gap that you've had, obviously we've all had downtime that we haven't wanted. How do you take that form, or how do you take that work into a brand new season with such a big gap?
Hard work, honestly.
Yeah.
It's constant. Like at the start of the season, at the beginning of last season, I was hitting on my own for probably 3 days a week. That was on top of having training twice a week as well as also playing. So pretty much goes 6 days a week leading into the ABL where, constantly working on your craft, if that's swinging, running, going to the gym, obviously. But, getting those reps in to make sure that when that big situation comes, that you're ready to go and that you're confident in what you can do.
I suppose takes that thinking away from it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just becomes muscle memory. And that's when, something as an athlete, we kind of, the best athletes in the world, obviously can stay focused, but can also flush out everything else and make sure that, they let their body take over and just become an athlete. And that's what, that's why they're the best in the world.
Josh, for you, you've been a starter, you've been a reliever throughout your career, but really held down that position last year for that number 4 starting position. Any indication as to your role, what that will be this year at this stage?
Yeah, I don't really know. From brief talks with Shane, seems like I'm probably going to start again. Where he pegs me in that rotation, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've got the 2 Wells brothers this year, which are a major asset to the ball club, bringing their talent, but also their experience from playing many years overseas. So it's just a matter of where I slot in. We've had discussions. I've said to him, look, if you pick up another starter and you want to use him, I'm more than happy to go bolster the bullpen. But he knows whatever he wants me to do, I'm more than happy to do if it's for the best of the team.
That number 4 starting role this year, any starting role is important, but with the compressed season this year, that number 4 game of a series, sometimes when you're 3-0 in a series, you take that out. The number 4 game, there's no easy ones. I suppose I'm trying to say this year. So if it is that number 4 starting slot, it's going to be a really important game.
Yeah, I've kind of liked the 4th day. Typically the Sunday. I know some guys can find it a little bit more difficult to, I guess, amp up for a more 2 o'clock sort of game.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of something that I've been determined to kind of thrive in. Make sure that I bring good energy and I'm ready to go from the first pitch, because those early Sunday games, you can be the 5th inning if you're not ready to go straight away. So I try and take advantage of that. And the Sunday game's a really good one to kind of go. Well, you might be down 2-1 in the series, and all of a sudden you split on a road day. So that would be super pivotal to kind of getting us to where we need to get to.
Yeah, and as I said, with the compressed season, there's no easy games. There's no chance to take it easy. Every game and every win is important this season.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always kind of said, we want to win at home and at minimum split on the road. But I think the biggest thing for us is we never want to lose on a road day. A day where we travel. So every win that we pick up is obviously beneficial. But there's nothing like, say, flying home from Brisbane, winning on that last day when you get to go home. Even if you, lose the series 3-1, there's that morale that you go, no, we played well that day, and, we've got momentum to build on from that.
Yeah. Alex, have you had a chance to cast your eye over, in particular, the new imports who are coming into the side this year?
Yeah. So obviously been speaking with Adam quite a bit, and obviously Shane and the coaching staff, and really looking forward to the caliber of imports that we've got this season. That signing that deal with New York Mets is something that I think will hold us in good stead to the years to come. And also this year, I believe the catcher, the young catcher that we've got from the Mets is meant to be quite something special. And obviously we've been bolstered with some experienced guys from the Tigers, then that will be something special as well. So really looking forward to the boys joining in and building together for this year.
Yeah, Francisco Alvarez, he signed a $2.7 million contract at the age of 17 or 18 years of age, that's a fair prospect.
100%. So, that's something special, obviously, when a team or an organisation is willing to invest that kind of money into a 17-year-old. There's definitely something special there. So, fingers crossed. I'm positive that he'll come out ready to work and continue to improve. And I think we're going to reap the benefits of it this season.
Josh, you've spent some time in pro ball in America, aligning ourselves with a big league organisation with the New York Mets this year and the players that they'll bring out. I suppose they're on a different journey than sort of independent ball players or others who have come out to Australia in the past. What do you see the difference is or will be in these guys who have come out from the Mets organisation?
Yeah, I guess every baseball player has, particular aspirations. And, for most of the Aussies, who aren't under an American professional contract, that's to win an ABL championship. However, these guys from the Mets are, they're grinding to try and get to the big leagues. And that's where how he said, we're hopefully going to reap the benefits of that because they're putting in work, they're trying to get better because they know that they're not where they want to be yet. Not saying that they don't want to be in Australia, but their goal is to get to the big leagues. And, they can't afford to have a poor year in Australia because it doesn't look good going into spring training. They want to be playing well, building up. So then all of a sudden when they hit spring training, they're in full season form. And that could be the difference between, say, a guy starting in AA and a guy, making the roster out of spring training. So, those sort of things, those little things are things that people might not necessarily think about, but are really important in, potential differences between independent and professional players.
As I said, you've been around that pro ball in America. How tough is that competition for spots on rosters as you're starting to work your way through from A ball through to the big leagues?
Yeah, it's pretty cutthroat. It's just one of those things that, like I said, spring training is huge. You're trying to make a team straight away. And then if you don't make, the team that you want to make, you're essentially, waiting for a position to open up. And that's either somebody moving up, to another level and now you get to take their spot, or it could be an injury. Could be the rosters expand for playoffs. But if you're waiting for the roster to expand over playoffs, you're essentially waiting to the end of the year to kind of, move up. So it's pretty tough. Everyone's fighting for a position because they all want that end goal of being at the big leagues. And it doesn't matter, what level you start at, you've got to get there. And, if that means you've got to go every level year by year, then, so be it.
And I suppose a tough prospect that every minor league baseballer is facing coming into 2021 is it still plenty of talk about minor league baseball shrinking over in America. So there will be less teams, many less spots in rosters, many less opportunities, but still the same number of players who are after those opportunities. So that cutthroat nature of the game is going to be even more so.
Yeah, it's really only going to get, more and more difficult. Guys are never going to let go of that, that professional contract because the goal is there. But obviously, it now gives you less opportunity to slip up. Your slumps can't afford to be as long because as soon as they, think you've peak or, you're underperforming, there's always going to be somebody chasing your tail. And you've always got to try and just stay one step ahead and keep improving and stay consistent.
How we look at the history of the Sydney Blue Sox over the last 10 years, it's been a case of almost over so many times, I think 6 times that the Sydney Blue Sox have fallen short of making it into that championship series. Does that record help drive or motivate the players?
I think so. Definitely, all the boys, we talk each year about, this year being the one. I think at times we kind of get focused too heavily on that end goal, where Shane was last season, even though we didn't get the results as what we had planned for. But we kind of had that thought process of, we play the next pitch, we play this game, we build for the next win, we build for the next series. And if we continually work process and step by step, then the end result will be there and it will take care of itself. We, as athletes, we talk about the process being so important. Josh and I have spoken about that tonight in regards about being prepared for the season. That's a process. If we as a unit, as a team and an organisation build and think that this season's a process, then, we get the process done. We put ourselves in a fantastic opportunity to, pick up that shield and, get the dream that a lot of us have been chasing for a number of years now.
I said at the start that you two guys have been named as part of the leadership group this year, 2 of the 3 guys. Firstly, congratulations. It's a great honour. Now, I'm not going to ask you each while you both were selected, because I think it's easy to talk about somewhere else. So, Alex, tell me, why do you think, or what is Josh going to bring to the table as one of the leaders of the ball club?
Okay, good question. No, the fact that Josh is a fantastic teammate. He is a starter, but he's also on the other 3 games that, he's not pitching. He's allowed us in the dugout. He's a great guy that you as a teammate, as a friend, as an individual can go lean on and, ask questions, go see him as a friend, go see him as a teammate, go see him as a competitor. And he'll tell you the truth. And I think that is something that will be, so influential this season, for the young ones to lean on, even myself, if there's a question that, or, a direction that I'm not sure of, the fact that I can go lean on Josh and go ask Josh a question and I know that he's going to have my back 100%, that means that speaks for itself right there. And I think every guy on that team, that have played for the Blue Sox year in, year out will say the exact same thing about Josh.
Well, there you go, Josh. He's a nice wrap for you. Now's your chance to return serve here. What does Alex bring to the table as a leader of this ball club?
Honestly, I got no idea what.
Other than cake, Josh. Other than cake.
No. I got no idea what he's thinking about Eunice. Nah. In all seriousness, with Howie as being selected for the person that he is, Howie has, as one of the Australians, has probably one of the best work ethics I've personally seen as a player, as a part of the team. He's very meticulous. So from that, he sets a really good, what's the word? I'm having a blank.
I suppose he sets the standards, right?
He really sets the standard and going this is, he's not outspoken in saying, oh, we've all got to do this, blah, blah, blah. He just sets the standard by being himself, going out, putting in the hard work and, reaps the rewards for it, as we saw last year. So, players, look up to someone like him, respect him for, the diligence and the effort and how he works that way. He's the ultimate professional when it comes like that. We've all had our struggles. But like he said, he's, matured a lot over the last couple of years and, been able to be that kind of, if you didn't know, he's a teacher. So he's good at handling issues. He's very mature in that sense that, if anybody's kind of struggling, he's really good at working with strategies to kind of go, all right, well, what's the issue? How can we solve it? So all of those kind of attributes mixed together just kind of makes the ultimate professional and makes him a real big asset for us.
And the other member of this leadership group, Jacob Eunice, who's was supposed to join us on the podcast tonight, but he's allegedly at work or he's doing something. We're about to cut him from this leadership group. But tell us what you can both sort of jump in and let me know here. What is it that someone like Jacob Eunice? I know he's been around the ball club. He was a 16-year-old, and he was actually talking to him about this during the week. That I worked as the ground announcer on the very first Blue Sox game. And he came in as a pinch runner in the 8th or something as this very enthusiastic and energetic 16-year-old kid. And so he's been around the ball club for a long time. What does he bring to this team?
Yeah, I'll start. I think Jacob is probably one of the most well-liked individuals in baseball. He's just a fantastic human. I've actually never really heard him say anything bad about another person. So, having someone like that in your club, plus he's super talented. He's a leader. He's been on the field. He's probably been one of our best performers probably for the last 4 or 5 seasons. To be such a cool, calm, collected guy in the clubhouse. I think Jacob really links, the attributes of Josh and myself. And, for a guy that, will be seen by others and relates really well. He was the first guy when we had our Zoom chat with Manny Ramirez for the first time. He's already lined himself up with a Manny Ramirez bat. So only Jacob Eunice can do that. And so it's just a testament to, the individual he is. And I think, it wouldn't be right if he wasn't in this leadership group. But in saying that too, there could have been 15 other core guys that we've got a really core group of players in our team that, could have been there as well. So, but in regards to Uni, it's well deserved.
Josh, have you spoken as a group and also with the coaching staff, and I suppose particularly Shane as the manager, about the role this leadership group is going to play this year?
We've spoken about it a little bit. We kind of discussed that we'd get into it a little bit more the more we got together. But it was kind of, for the most part, we're using it as a little bit of an avenue where, obviously if there are any issues, hopefully we can kind of like nip them in the bud straight away. But otherwise, from memory, we're just going to play it by ear a little bit at the moment. Just, look after everyone, make sure everything's running smoothly. If there are any questions, answer them or whatnot. Just kind of look out for each other and kind of be those, I guess, the pillars that, the team can kind of lean on so that, the coaching staff can focus on putting together a team and a strategy to help win ball games. And, come to us if, have that kind of, we get the consensus of the team and go, we're having issues with this, and, we can funnel that to the right person and address it quickly.
I think mainly it's just a bit of a bridge between the playing group and the coaching staff. And I think, if as the three of us, if we remain focused that, we serve the team, we serve the organisation, then, by the end of the season, we all look back and say that the 22 people playing each day or the 30 guys on the roster are all leaders. That's something that's, that will hold us in good stead, like we've said. So I think our main role is going to be the bridge between the two. But that's, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, perfect way to sum it up there.
I've spoken to Shane and Adam both about the ball club that they're putting together, and I've known Shane for a long time, and to hear him speak about what's being assembled at the moment and how it's all starting to come together. And it's all very easy when a pitch hasn't been thrown and a bat hasn't been swung yet. But what they both said that they're really impressed, and the term that they both used was, we've got a really good group of human beings here. And I think it's important to have a couple of good human beings who are leading this to sort of set those standards. I suppose in terms of this leadership group, that's what you two guys are going to be doing, setting standards by as much your actions as anything else that you do.
I think so. I think 100%. If we hold ourselves to a pretty high standard, and then, give an opportunity for the guys to follow, or just to see how it's done or how we do it as an organisation, we can continue to build this culture. I think we've got a group of individuals that like hanging around each other, like being at the ballpark with one another, like going, being at training and working hard. Like the couple sessions that we've had already, the boys have been in fantastic morale. The guys are excited to see each other. It's been a really good start. And now we just want to keep it going and kind of get the season underway.
You mentioned the name Manny Ramirez. This is an incredible coup for Australian sport, let alone Australian baseball. And I think there's a lot of sports fans in Australia who probably don't know who Manny Ramirez is. And when he comes to town, I think they're going to find out. To you, Josh, tell us about when your first thoughts or impressions when you heard that you're going to be lining up in the same uniform as Manny Ramirez this year.
It's pretty incredible. I kind of had to pinch myself a little bit, and I then messaged Adam and had to go like, "Is this real?" He goes, "Yeah, dead set." And we kind of laughed about it. He goes, "Oh, you can put on your resume that Manny Ramirez had DH'd for you." And I kind of said to him, "I go, stuff that, trade me, mate. I want to face him." I need to put that in there somewhere. I need to face him before he leaves.
Yeah.
But it's pretty incredible. We had a bit of a chat to him. I actually found out he made his big league debut. I'm pretty sure the year I was born.
I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear that when he turns up, for sure.
Oh no, I already told him. I had a bit of a Zoom call, and he was a part of it, and yeah, I worked it out. And, we all laughed about it. Pretty funny. But to that just kind of shows he's got such a wealth of baseball knowledge and experience, and even from the brief chat with him, you could just already feel that he was going to fit in well. He's a great bloke, but even the kids that are going to be hanging around him can hopefully suck in some information, and hopefully we can all learn and benefit from him being around, as well as him perform on the field as well. So can't wait, really can't wait.
Were there any young rookies who sort of 18, 19 in the ball club asking who Manny Ramirez was?
I don't know. I
hope not.
I really hope not. I can only imagine that they know who he is. They might not know his full career, like some of the rest of us. But again, I say that as if I knew his full career. Again, he made his debut when I was born. So I don't know.
Alex, that Zoom call that you guys had with him, tell us the moment for you where you're sitting, probably where you are right now. You're looking at the screen, and the name Manny Ramirez and the face pops up on the screen, and you're about to have a chat to him.
It was so surreal. I was a bit of a fangirl, not gonna lie. I did take some screenshots. I took some photos under the camera and just kind of sent them out to a couple of people. But it was just like it's just next level, to be honest. It's I remember kind of in school holidays when we were back in high school, getting the opportunity to watch the Red Sox play on ESPN. I'm a diehard Yankees fan, and I remember that World Series where they came back and it was something special, and this is Manny Ramirez, but he was on that Zoom chat. I was really nervous to kind of speak and not sure what to say and things like that, but 5 minutes on, we were just chatting just like we are now, and it was a really good chat. Just like Josh said, he's a great bloke, and I think he's going to really enjoy being part of our organisation as much as we are going to enjoy having him. So it's going to be really exciting for this coming season.
Sorry, I think to add to that, he even said halfway through the conversation, he's like, "You guys are treating me as if I'm some sort of superstar. Like, I'm just an ordinary person." And we kind of jokingly were like, "Oh, okay, like, he's a teammate now. We'll just treat him as a teammate." And then after he left, we all laughed because we were like, he is a superstar. He wants to be treated as an equal, and I think that's what made it more inviting and that much better to kind of go, this guy could be giving us big league treatment like no tomorrow, but already he's like, you know what, like I'm just another baseball player on this team, and we're all in this together.
And he must, and I'm sure this came through in the chat as well, but he's been around a long time. He's done so much in the game, but to still have that want and desire to play and compete every day, says a hell of a lot for the guy he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of quizzed him on that a little bit. You know, it was like, you know, in a polite way, it was kind of like, you know, you haven't played for a little bit. What kind of made you want to get back into it? And he's like, you know, I was being around my kid, you know, we were taking batting practice, I was hitting tanks. He goes, I never stopped loving the game, but he was just like, I want to play. I want to keep playing. I want to play as long as possible. And, you know, he started putting work in. And that's, you know, after that, he kind of got onto Adam and was like, look, I'm looking to play. And, you know, it wasn't like he hadn't played in 15 years and was trying to roll out of bed. Like, this guy's putting in work. He looks like he's in incredible shape too. So, yeah, it's unreal.
You've, Alex, you've lent on a couple of the Blue Sox coaches for a bit of batting tuition. Do you reckon you'll side up to Manny Ramirez to get him to check your swing out?
Oh, absolutely. I think it would be silly if every hitter on that team doesn't kind of just have a conversation, have a breakdown, kind of ask where his mindset is, ask, what are the couple keys that he's feeling, what sets him apart. He's reached the highest of highs in this game. And I think if you as an individual, even as a pitcher or as a positional player, if you don't ask Manny Ramirez in a formal or an informal way, I think that would be a detriment on you. So I can't wait to be around and take early swings and be up at Blacktown International Sports Park and just sweating away in the cages and having Manny Ramirez feed me flips.
It's going to be super exciting to see Manny here, and it's still, for me and plenty of other baseball fans, it's just, as you say, it's still a bit surreal, and I think we're all going to have that moment when he turns up at the ballpark and we'll go, he's actually here, and I think that's going to be the moment. Let's just go back a little bit to the rest of the roster this year and talk on the local front. There's been some a few local signings, blokes coming back to the ball club this year. To you, Josh, particularly out of the bullpen, who are you really looking forward to seeing back in the Blue Sox uniform this year locally?
We've got a few guys. It's going to be interesting. The bullpen's going to be really interesting this year. We get like a fully prepared Oxspring this year, which I think is highly undervalued. He went over to Premier 12, threw a few innings to kind of fill like a bit of a game, and, same sort of thing. Like, he'd been playing, but, came into the side, like into the Blue Sox season and, to his fairness, did really well, but with probably more preparation. So it'll be really interesting to kind of see how much better he can be for the club with, proper preparation, ready to go, good innings, working out, being healthy and stuff like that. Obviously the Mets players are going to be pivotal to how we perform this year as well. Just high level quality arms, know how to pitch, good stuff. But then some other guys who potentially haven't signed yet that we still have in our back pockets. You're looking at guys like Connor McDonald, who's come back from injury but has an electric arm. You've even got guys like Zach Shepard, who are still sitting there, like probably from talks to Adam, like could be close to signing, all that sort of stuff. So we've got some really good stuff coming.
And for you, Alex, who are you looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of young signings, some young prospects coming through. So in the outfield we've got Solomon Maguire. I think it's going to be. I don't think I've ever seen Solomon play too many games. So having him a part of the club and kind of seeing his transition from a young 18-year-old to an adult who can play against men and play at a really high level. I think that's going to be exciting to see. And we're also going to have, Jalen Ray again. I believe this is his third season with us. Incredibly young, incredibly talented once again. just to have those kind of guys around the club, it's really good to see that we've got a really young group of athletes coming through that, are going to lead this organisation in the coming years.
One thing I think the Blue Sox will have this year, particularly for positional players and hitters, there's going to be plenty of depth, and there's going to be a lot of competition for those spots in the infield and outfield this year, which can only be a good thing for the club.
Oh, 100%. If we don't build an organisation or a team that, thrives on competition and thrives in depth, we're not going to give ourselves any opportunity to be in the playoffs and, lift the shield at the end of the year. Depth creates competition, and, I think that's going to bring out the best. I know it brings out the best in me, and I definitely know it brings out the best in a lot of guys in our teams. So really looking forward to, getting started with all the guys getting in the country. That's going to be a different story, or difficult with everything going on with COVID. But, we're extremely confident that we can pull this off.
Josh, I suppose it's a little bit hard to tell with clubs still assembling rosters with a little bit of uncertainty of how they're going to line up. But have you had a chance to cast your eye over what the league's looking like? And if so, who's the real threats? Who's the team to really beat this year for the Sydney Blue Sox?
Really good question. It's been obviously a bit difficult with like this, hectic lead up and stuff like that. But from what I've kind of seen, Brisbane will be Brisbane, so they're going to be competitive no matter what. They also have a really good crop. They always have a really good crop of Australian guys. So any sort of imports that they add that are high quality will benefit them. Auckland's made some pretty impressive signings. So that will definitely be interesting as well. And Adelaide for me. I think Adelaide is a big sleeper team that a lot of people probably don't think about. Yeah, they made it to the championships last year, but they've added more. Keep adding guys, high quality, good experience, and that'll just bolster their younger team. I think they're going to be a real big threat this year.
And Alex, no doubt, looking forward to the battle continuing with the Canberra Cavalry.
Oh, 100%. It's always a close rivalry. When we're playing Canberra, they're a quality organisation, quality team. They have kind of seemed to have had our number the last couple of seasons, but in saying that too, we'll prepare, we'll plan, we'll execute the best we can. And, like I said, with the staff or with the players we're putting together this year and the talent that we have, I don't think, I think other teams will be fearing us just as much as, we kind of worry about them as well.
It's getting pretty exciting. We're nearly there.
We are. Absolutely. Can't wait.
Guys, you've both been very generous with your time, and I thank you so much for your time. But before we go, I like to wrap this podcast up with the question I'm going to ask both of you guys, and I asked Shane and Adam in the first two episodes. We're all baseball people, and it's given us so much joy and so many great moments in our lives. But for each of you, and I will start with you, Alex, what is the greatest moment in baseball for you? Now, you could have been a fan in the stands, you could have been a player, you could have been a coach. What is your greatest baseball moment?
So I've been thinking about this one for a little bit, and I always come back to walk-off home run in the ABL. We're at Blacktown International Sports Park, and I'm definitely not known for my home runs by any means. And I think, the whole situation kind of writes itself where, the team, the Brisbane Bandits, chose not to bring their closer in to start that inning because the 9-hole hitter was up, and that was me. And and I can remember the pitcher. He was on the mound, Reese Nitt, who's a quality and very crafty pitcher. And when he was pitching with Brisbane, I was down 0-2. He hung a slider inside, and very lucky. Every time I hit a home run, first thing I say is always...
You were down 0-2 when you hit that?
I was down 0-2. And got a slider on the inside part of the plate. It wasn't being live streamed, but there are clips of it on Instagram, and I have watched them a few times. But that was a surreal moment. I've had to fight for everything in my baseball career, and to get an opportunity to influence a game like that in that moment was something special. And I was able to keep the ball, and I gave it to my father.
Brilliant. I was going to say, mate, I don't know if you'd watched it over and over again, because I can't quite remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but you can tell me it was an 0-2 pitch and a slider on the inside.
There's a few things in this life, in this world, that you don't forget. And in an athlete's career, that's one moment that hasn't been topped yet. There are only a few things that potentially would top that. And, and fingers crossed, it gets topped, because that would be pretty amazing.
Josh, for you, you've achieved a lot in your career. You've represented Australia. You've played pro ball. You've played National League baseball. We're very interested to find out, what is your greatest moment in baseball?
Like Howe, I've been thinking about this a lot, and there's two moments in my baseball career that I can't split for two kind of different reasons. One was being named on the men's national team and getting to pitch at Premier 12. In my entire life, I've never pitched in front of in a stadium that big, at an atmosphere that big, with so much on the line. And I like to think that I kind of held my weight against some of the best players in the world. The other moment for me was pitching in an under-23 World Cup, where we ended up placing second to Japan. But that was incredible. I think that was the beginning of really me stepping up as, the player that I am now. I kind of unlocked another level during that tournament. There was one game in particular, we came in. I'll try and do a Howie moment. I'll recall everything. There was a game against Korea. We upset Korea. I came in I think it was the 8th, got an out through the 9th. We went into extras, and they had the international rule. We ended up turning a triple play that game as well. And to close out that game, essentially put us in medal contention. And we ended up winning second place, and I got goosebumps thinking about it now. So, that's those two are definitely right at the top for me. I can't split them.
We are very fortunate to be part of a game that gives you so much.
Absolutely. I never would have thought that, first of all, I would have played baseball. I didn't have any family members or anything who played it. So when my mum said, "You're not playing cricket because it's too long and I don't want to watch it all day, you can play baseball," which is an hour and 15 minutes on a Saturday morning, I was like, sure. But it's taken me all over the place. It's taught me many lessons. I don't think you'll find another game like it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes baseball the best game in the world, is that you can have a high school teacher like myself, a uni student becoming a physiotherapist in Josh, go up against some of the best players in the world and compete, and go take it to that. When I believe his name's Jeremy Guthrie, pitched in for Melbourne Aces, I believe in the ABL the year before, he was pitching in the World Series, and I remember going and getting a hit off that. And Delman Young, Manny Ramirez, another example. This game is special. This game is beautiful for that reason, is that it is such an equaliser. And as soon as you think you've mastered it and that, you're too good for the game will bring you crashing down real quick. So, I've always used it as a great equaliser in my life, and, it's something that's kind of steered it in the right direction for sure.
And Alex, I think that is a perfect way for us to wrap this up here tonight. To you, Alex, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck for this season.
Fantastic, Glenn. Thanks for your time.
And to Josh, thank you for joining us on Blue Sox Banter. Great to chat to you guys. All the very best for the upcoming season. Go well, and we'll see you at Blacktown International Sports Park very soon.
Cheers, mate. Can't wait for the next one.
Well, there you have it. Josh Guyer and also Alex Howe. What two great young guys, part of the leadership group of the Sydney Blue Sox. And as we said, can't wait to see them on the field at Blacktown International Sports Park. Of course, it gets underway with the opening round or opening season starting on December 18 up against the Melbourne Aces. Make sure you go online to Sydney Blue Sox to find out how you can become a member, how you can get your tickets and be part of it in season 2020. Don't forget to follow us on socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Sydney Blue Sox. That's about wraps it up for episode number 4. I'm Glen Hawke, and thanks for joining us on Blue Sox Banter. Blue Sox Banter is a Caris Communications production hosted by me, Glen Hawke, for the Sydney Blue Sox.